up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Tea Time with Unfold. I'm Courtney Askew. I'm the creative director of illustration here with one of our fabulous illustrators. Vic, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, hello. Testing. Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me? Hi guys, everyone. My name is Victor, and I'm an illustrator here at Unfold. Been working here for about 5 years, so it's definitely been a blessing. It's really awesome to draw for a living. So I mostly specialize in illustration, but diddle around with other types of design, animation, all this other kind of fun stuff. But I love illustrating, so um, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, today we are going to talk about storytelling through illustration. So, kind of talking through how we work as a team and how we create illustrations for our awesome clients. Victor, do you have any tea today that you were drinking?
Um, I'm drinking Lemon Perfect, hydrating
Ooh,
lemon water, zero sugar, peach raspberry flavor.
that sounds very
Um,
fancy. Very fancy. I have
but
a.
when I do drink tea, I prefer Earl Grey,
Oh.
and I leave the tea bag in there for as long as possible because I want it to be as strong as possible. So Earl
Okay.
Grey is my
Okay.
tea of choice.
I'm going with an Arnold Palmer here today. We got some half and
Ooh,
half. So we're
okay,
both on the
okay.
lemon train today.
Let's go.
Yeah. Alrighty. I've already got a pun in Slack about my name. Thank you. You can ask me a question if you would like to. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat as we are going along. Feel free to stop and ask questions about illustration or unfold anything like that, and we will try to get to all of those. All right. So Vic, do
Yeah,
you want to go ahead and kind of walk through what we're talking about today?
yeah. Let's hop straight into Figma,
I'm gonna go ahead and
and
switch
let me know
over.
when you're sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I see your face.
Perfect, perfect, perfect,
Okay, let me
perfect.
zoom this out a little bit.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, this is what we're doing. Yeah, so storytelling through illustration. Illustration. So, check this out. When I was in high school, I took every single art class that I possibly could because I love to draw. I love to draw. And this was back in the day before digital illustration or vector illustration kind of was huge type of thing. So in my mind, at least, the only thing that there was physical medium, pen and paper, crayon, watercolors, whatever, that kind of illustration, physical illustration. So
Traditional.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, traditional. There you go. So throughout high school, I was like, all right, this is fun. I love illustration. I love drawing. Been doing it my whole life, doodling on all my papers at school. But clearly, there's no career in this because everyone always makes fun of artists, struggling artists, starving artists.
Was
I'm
your
not gonna
homework
be able to
covered?
make
Did you ever
them.
get yelled at by a teacher for just like covering all your stuff in illustrations?
Oh my, all the time, all the time. I kid you not, all the time. I'll get points deducted off of like quizzes and stuff like that because after I was
Oh
done, I would
man.
just doodle.
I was about to ask
So
if you
I
ever
had
like
to.
got away with
Yeah.
like, I've seen the memes where people like be like, I don't know the answer,
Oh,
but here's a cool drawing. Does this get me some points?
I didn't have that kind of confidence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, but where was I going with this? Oh yeah, storytelling through illustration. Yeah, so in my mind, like there's no way to make money off of this. Then I was introduced into the world of graphic design and um, you know websites mostly. I'd
Hmm.
say the majority of the illustrations that we make are for websites. Um,
Yeah, I think
and
when
why is
probably
there
when we were both getting
illustration?
into
Yeah,
design, that's probably when like the website boom kind of really hit. I feel like for especially into the
yeah,
design world, it was kind of like that was like the main thing that people were working on right now. We'd kind of moved out of a lot of traditional print and things like that. So yeah, for sure.
yeah, exactly. So what you call it? That being said, like, okay, so illustration. Why are websites important for illustration? Because a lot of these websites, they need to find a way to tell a story using visuals.
Hmm.
They can have the copy, they can have the photography, or they can opt in for illustrations. So that's what we do here mostly, and that's mostly, the way we do illustration around here is to use them to help drive a narrative or drive a
Hmm.
story going up or down. or sideways or left or right on a web page.
Right. And there's something kind of
So
magical too about
yeah,
like illustrations in contrast to sometimes photography, right? Because I know a lot
yeah,
of websites, that's kind of the first step is figuring out what type of imagery you need. And sometimes photography is like really great, especially if you're like a lifestyle brand, but sometimes you need something a little bit more. And so we do a lot where it's like balanced with both photography and illustration. Then you also have where
yeah.
it's full illustration. So there's a lot of different kind of balances that we try to look for our clients as we're going.
Yeah, 100%. And it's about, it's about the client's needs as well, you know. Um, there are certain cases where, illustrations would not be appropriate or needed. So it's definitely a use case thing, which
Yeah.
segues perfectly into this next part, which is kind of my little presentation here of mostly illustrations, mostly for websites that I've done and with our team. So man, I lost
You
my
zoom
train
in
of
a
thought.
little bit. Oops.
But yeah, so this is a good example right here. So this is Creative South website 2023. We're hoping to see some of you guys there.
Yeah, we're about two. Are we 2 weeks out? A week and a half out?
I think so,
Should be
something
soon.
like
What's the date
that.
on that?
We're
March
getting
30th.
close. March 30th to April
Yeah.
1st, which is my birthday.
Yay.
Um, so yeah, so for this pure imagination, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Crazy illustrations all over the place, but that fits kind of the theme of what this website is for. It's for a design conference in which the theme is pure imagination, craziness. So we just went kind of hardcore
And if you
on
all
the
haven't seen like
craziness.
Victor's portfolio, like go click on it. It's in the link below. This website, I love seeing these illustrations. Like this is so Vic all the way, and I love seeing all of your personal style come out and just all the fun that you were able to have with this. So I can't wait to hear you talk about how you implement that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Exactly. So here we have that. It's kind of similar vibe for this summer camp website that we did for Solana Hackathon. Um, they wanted something a little bit wild, something a little bit crazy. But that doesn't necessarily mean that illustrations for a website have to be weird or crazy. Uh, this is an example of something we did for Key Care, excuse me, which is it's a medical thing targeted towards older people. So as illustrators, we have to come up and if you know an older person, that has health issues that's using the Keytruda app sees this. I don't know, I don't know if that fits the demographic very well. I don't know if they would feel like they're in good hands, so
Yeah, we get
um
a lot of help from our brand strategists too and our brand team before a lot of times before it gets to us and kind of figuring out what the demographic looks like and figuring out helping us establish that illustration is kind of we treat it as like the sprinkle on top of all of our projects. So whether we're working with the brand team or illustration or product, we get to kind of come in and put these little sprinkles on top of what they've already created. So that's really fun to get to work with all of the teams and they really help us define what kind of the foundation for what we can build on.
exactly, 100%. Yeah, so for this we decided to go with more like realistic style people. We still tried to throw a little bit of uh I guess cartooniness, a little bit of, like
Stylized, yeah.
there's yeah, stylize it a little bit, give it like this painterly look, but we kind of wanted, these people to feel comfort, see like these real life looking people and kind of relate to them, but also like have like this feeling of comfort through the illustration style, kind of maybe picture book-esque, it's not like medical looking or like something that you would see like
Cold.
usually medical
Yeah.
sites use photography or something like that, and like
Right.
this is relatable.
Yeah, you want
So
it to feel like warm and inviting, and like they're want to be interested in the product, and know that like the client we were working for is helping these people. So to have like that relationship established where we're adding trust through these illustrations. It's about telling the story to the audience.
exactly, 100%, and that's where the storytelling kind of starts is with the help of what the if we're doing a full entire from top to bottom brand website product type of deal, kind of riffing off of what the brand strategist has already figured out or what the web team has already figured out, um, seeing what the client needs and knowing how we can tell a story through what type of illustrations. So yeah, a couple more examples here. We got more flat style and more this. This is an operational shipping company. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
and then here we have kind of a developer application. And like I said, through all of these, there was, careful thought um, in figuring out how we're going to bring this guys' style to life, their website to life, and share their story.
Hmm.
Um, and and a quick other thing before we hop in to sketches and stuff. A lot of these illustrations that I've showed are like things, objects, people, houses,
Very
a computer
everyday,
desk.
like it's what you would think of as ordinary, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that, like I
Maybe
think
not the
a lot of
Oompa
people
Loompas up
think,
there, but
yeah, exactly.
or the
I
ladybug with
think
a
a lot of
jetpack.
people, yeah, there's that. Actually, Benton, one of our web designers, came up with that. So,
Amazing.
um, be an illustrator to make some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people think when they think of illustration, like, oh, some cartoony, ditzy, fun stuff. There's different types of illustration. Here's some examples of some more abstract type of illustrations that the Unfold has done in the past. So, just more like interesting, cool look on these Solana coins, or like this. I don't have that, but that's supposed to be a 0%. Or like these. Like, what do these even mean? What are these? They're just shapes and orbs and stuff like that. But for this company, for whatever they did, um, sorry, I'm not too familiar with suborbital, future of cloud applications. They're not going to need a Peach character jumping across the
It's a
screen
lot more
flying a jetpack.
abstract, but it's adding those
Exactly.
elements that really help build out that brand in kind of an abstract form. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So through careful planning, through strategy, we came up with this style to be able to tell suborbital story
Hmm.
through these illustrations. And like I said, these are just kind of a little sprinkle. These are a cherry on top of the already established website, the copy written by the copywriter, all this other stuff. We're kind of through illustration, just adding that extra sprinkle of love that really brings everything together.
Right. Right, and it's such a joy. I mean, I think I can speak for our team that like it's so fun to be able to work on something different every day. Every style, every client is totally different, and so it's a really fun challenge to get to figure out what their message is and how they're trying to work with their audience. And we're really kind of problem solvers in that way as well, because we get to figure out like what are they currently struggling with, what are their goals, and figuring out how we can help them achieve those in like a visual way. And so that's a lot of fun to get to explore that along with them.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a huge enjoyable part
Hmm.
of the process is, you
For
know,
sure. Cool.
critical thinking, problem
Yeah,
solving.
exactly. Right. Cool. Well, so we're going to jump into some sketchings. Vic's going to walk through kind of his approach to coming up with some of these illustrations. I think kind of talking about his personal style as well, that I think, we all have that style that kind of influences what we create. And so kind of getting to explore that is going to be really fun. So take it away.
Yes, for sure. Let me just start sharing my iPad
Yeah. Do you want me to
to,
transition for a second?
yeah.
Here, I'll move over here.
Um, boom, boom, boom. There we go. Sorry, just got to screen share my iPad.
You're good.
Okay, thank goodness that works. Um, yeah. Okay.
You sharing
So
now?
I think that I just want to talk about one thing.
Yep. You're good.
Right here, last thing in the Figma.
Oh.
So I think the best way to guide me into making something here today is I give myself like a little bit of a prompt, just some fake website that I put together in half a second. So the chat app, chatting made easier. The future is here with Peter Pal at your service. This revolutionary AI will take care of your conversations. So, kind of this is our client brief. Client came to us. They want some illustrations for their new chat app, their AI chat app. They have a mascot, Peter Pal, and they kind of want to cater this a little bit towards um, you know, younger people. 18 to 35-year-olds. And they want something fun. They don't want to rely on photography or product imagery. They want something fun, something relatable. So that's kind of the brief here today. Like I was telling you before, there's so many different ways and different styles and stuff like that, and things that we can do to tell a client story. But
Absolutely. Yep.
this is through mood boarding, through chatting with the client, through ABCD. This is kind of what we came up with. So I'm going to start sketching some concepts for chat app, specifically a character, Peter Pal. So let me now switch my screen share over to my iPad.
Mhm.
Oh, there we go. I almost thought it wasn't going to work. And let me know when you can
Magic.
see that.
Yeah, I can see it. Yep.
Yes. Okay, sweet. And it's there live on YouTube. All right,
Perfect.
cool. Awesome. Oh, and then one more thing. Let me switch. So that way you guys aren't looking at the top of my head while I'm talking. Is this thing
Boom.
on?
Fancy.
Hello, hello, hello.
We got you.
Cool. That way I can look down at you guys while I'm sketching. So
Love it.
cool. We have so many approaches to what we can do here. Do we want to go with a person character? Do we want to go with an inanimate object? Do we want to go with an animal? I don't know.
Do you want to take a poll? I don't know if I can do an actual poll on YouTube, but drop a request for what you want to see Vic draw. Would you say character, an object, an animal? I mean, I definitely think we did a mascot, right? You said Peter, a Peter Pal for
Peter Pal. That's your
sure.
AI pal right
Absolutely.
there.
So I definitely think we can at least start with a character, right?
Exactly.
Let
Yeah.
us
So
know.
let me go in my process. So like maybe let's try like, all right, let's try and do like some kind of person or something like that. And this is the fun part. The fun part is for me is sketching and just figuring out different styles, different things. So I'm just gonna go with a little character here. I've never drawn in front of anybody before. So.
It's a little stressful. I feel like it's kind of it's very personal to have someone watch you draw. Do you have any like influences that come to mind when you're drawing? I feel like you definitely have a like kind of a style. Like when I see a Vic drawing, like I know it's you. Do you have like certain things that come to your mind, or like I don't know, I always think of like cartoons from when I was a kid, things like that.
Yeah. I love cartoons. Yeah, I love the cartoony style. I think it's definitely easier for me to do than like more realistic things. I also think a big influence too is when I started working here, I was put on a project, Pay Junction. So I think a lot of like what I learned about how to make characters came from there. So
and
yeah,
their style
I think
is kind of
that's a big
more of
influence as well.
like modern flat kind of a little bit of cartoony style in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like faceless people.
That's super cool.
Okay, so this is just supposed to be a sketch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm overthinking this. So sketches, you know, in my opinion, they have certain use cases. You know, depending on what you want to get from the sketch. But for the most part, from the sketch, I want to get like a rough idea of the style. But mostly I just want to get the concept down, like a person waving, you know what I'm saying? Here, let's give Peter Pal a collar to make him look a little bit more professional in a pocket.
Nice.
Make him look like your AI assistant. So
how do you go about deciding like when your sketch is done? I know that I feel like we all do it a little bit differently. Like I know my sketches are like hideous. Like it's like 3 blobs and then I'm like, okay, go. How do you approach that?
I think for like I said, for me, I do like a mixture of both, like a concept, but also like I do get a little bit of style in there. So this is a bit quick. This is like what I just get for just like a quick rough idea. But like if I'm sketching for something that I know I want to build out in Figma, I go a little bit more. And I think when I finish, when I'm done is kind of when I can take that sketch, upload it into Figma and build on top of it. Not exactly word for word, but like I do, like I'm a little bit more comfortable with my hand than I am with the pen tool. So like I feel like getting like something down there first. So I think like when it's ready to be taken into Figma and drawn upon is when.
I gotcha. That's funny. I feel like I'm kind of the opposite. Like I feel way more comfortable in the pen tool, so I feel like that's probably why I'm a little bit more scribbly. So it's interesting to see like how us as a team, like we all end up working on the same projects, but we all kind of work differently and approach stuff differently, which is kind of helpful, especially when you're working on like the same client for a while and maybe you got stuck on something, and just having the rest of the team be able to come in and kind of, get you out of the art block, as we say. So it's nice. We do work very collaboratively here at Unfold, and trying to again kind of work off the best of each other and help build each other up. So it's always really fun.
Yeah.
Phil requests
So
a lint pocket character or a friendly penguin character. Walter the lint in my pocket or Melvin the friendly penguin. Very, very specific we got over here, Phil.
perfect. That's perfect because that segues exactly. So my plan, I kind of planned out the stream. I just wanted to draw some characters. So kind of iterating. All right, so check this out. So we drew a couple of people looking characters, you know what I'm saying? Explored a couple different styles, not too much here, but I can't look at this. I want to take it away. It's so hard. There's so much pressure drawing
Yeah.
live. Let me
Yep.
switch back over to Figma. That's a perfect segue into something I wanted to show. So like I said, I was never going to go with that specific style right there. So I think for this case scenario, I think a inanimate object or a not a person would be a perfect fit for this chat app. It is an AI. Typically AI are not represented by human beings, not yet at least. Let's wait a couple years for that. But so I definitely thinking about doing some inanimate objects or something like that. And as you can see from the Creative South site, that's definitely something that I've been writing on lately. Is these just random, like this is supposed to, we had a peach, it's not here, but a peach character, or like this moon with a mustache, or this daisy that has a smiley face on it. I think it's really fun to be able to get these things. It makes me feel like an old 1940s cartoon where everything is a character,
Yeah. Very
um,
Cuphead vibes.
so that brings me to these stickers right here. We made these recently for an upcoming thing of sorts. If you go to Creative South 2023, you can pick up some of these stickers. We're going to be printing some of these in real life. And that's all the information I'm giving for now. But as you can see, for this use case scenario, it was kind of like these everyday type of objects. But how could we spruce them up? And we kind of characterize them a little bit. So like that manila folder, he has it has the files kind of coming out, and it's like looking up at the files. There's motion, there's movement. The paint bucket, he's slipping and falling. I could have just thrown like a face on a paint bucket, had him upright, but kind of trying to give it a little bit of attitude, a little bit of personalization, a little bit of characterization. Pen tool, has like this reaction on him, ruler strolling. So that's kind of what I've been into lately is making these types of characters. So
It's so fun to see like such like a folder is like the most plain ordinary like boring object, and you made it so cute and it's so fun, and like you have all these personalities going, like you can see all these like in a scenario or like a comic book of like this paint bucket tipping over and someone having to help him, so it's so fun
yeah,
to be able to see them come to life when they're so like, if someone asked me to draw like a folder, I'd be like, ugh. Great.
okay, yeah, exactly, yeah. So there's a kind of a cool way to like bring some visual interest, bring some fun into something that can be very benign and boring. So riffing off of Phil's idea, was it?
Yeah, Phil requested the penguin or the lint.
Pocket lint. I like the pocket lint. So imagine the
Dude.
pocket lint is like some sentient being in your pocket, giving
Do you think
you
he's like
advice.
cool, or like he seems like he might be like mischievous? I don't know.
I mean, pocket lint. I'd be kind of angry and pissed if I
Right?
was pocket lint.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess how do you represent pocket lint? That is interesting. Um, can go like do like this like swirly pencil pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then maybe we can go in and uh, erase some for the eyeballs and go from there. But yeah, and this is where like, you know, this is where it gets fun. Is like, okay, oh, I need to make a pocket lint. I've never drawn that before.
Is this
So
the
this is where it
weirdest
gets fun.
request
This
you've
is where
ever
it gets
gotten?
interesting. I think the weirdest request I've ever gotten was to draw a set of AirPods, sketch a
Okay.
set of AirPods. Um,
Do your kids ever
if
ask
you
you to
guys,
draw anything weird for
if you
them?
guys know, you know. Yeah, my son always asked me to draw Lightning McQueen.
Oh,
So,
is he a big fan?
oh my goodness, yeah, he knows the. So he's not too much of a big fan now. Like kids, they go through
The
phases,
phases.
through
Yep.
stages. He was in a huge Cars movie stage,
Mm-hmm.
and I would tell him bedtime stories before bed, and I would just make up some story about McQueen and Mater. And he'd be like, "No, that's not how it goes. They said this first, and he went there." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, man,
I
this
love
guy
that
knows
he's
this movie
asking
by
you
heart."
for. I love that he's asking you for a story, but then also dictating how it should go. Amazing.
Yeah, that's my son. So
Awesome. Phil did confirm
but
that
yeah,
all he's ever known is his pocket, so he says that he's happy. I don't know what that means, but apparently he's happy. So the happy face is good.
so I'm gonna do a couple of approaches. Like I said, I'm who draws pocket lint, so I'm gonna give like these little shapes and stuff like that to make him look linty and particly. So I
Mhm.
kind of did a version here, one with scribbles. I kind of like that. It reminds me, I don't even know,
It
like
makes
maybe
me think
like
of
Tasmanian devil.
that kid from Charlie Brown who's like,
Oh yeah,
is it
there you go, that
Pigpen?
kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
or a
So,
tornado.
um, yeah. So what I'm gonna do for this one, when you draw something that looks half decent, you tend to like stick to that. But I want to explore here. I want to come up with different things. So I'm gonna not do the same eyes that I did before. So I like doing these eyes for some reason. They
Yeah,
just look so
they look
stupid.
sus to me.
Yeah,
Like, what are you doing over
exactly.
there?
Yeah, but then here, instead of doing rounded, we'll make the pupils just like a straight line or something like that, just to fill and kind of like add some interesting characterization, an interesting style. Let's make him
Mm-hmm.
look tired.
No,
'Cause I would imagine Poculent is tired.
for
And
sure.
then let's just do a weird mouth. There you
Oh,
go.
now he's kind of creepy though.
Yeah, he is very creepy pocket lint.
It's like the
Okay.
simplest little thing that you just added. Like it was all good. I was like on the train with the sleepy, and then it's like, oh, now the smile just changed the entire illustration.
There you go. Oh my
Weird
goodness.
vibes.
Well, he's the sus pocket lint.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll do that regular smile. Yeah, and see that's where iteration and exploration comes from. You know, like okay, well that's clearly not going to work. Let me do another one here. I don't know how else I can represent pocket lint. Let me try to do another interesting texture thing here.
Yeah.
Use
That's cool.
the side of the pencil. Okay, well, erase a spot for some eyes. I think I'll do the other eyes again. I like those. But yeah, this is the part. Oh my goodness, that is huge. Yeah, this is the part where I have the most fun. I love sketching. I love just iterating on these fast, quick ideas.
Yeah.
And just trying to make something absolutely ridiculous. And let's do just a negative space for the smile. And let's add some pocket lint texture here. And for this one, maybe let's add some appendages, some arms and some legs.
I like this mixture of like really cool texture with like the flat overlay. It reminds me. There's like some weird, wacky Cartoon Network shows out there that kind of do stuff like that, and it's like such a weird balance that you don't expect, but it works.
Yeah, it's like a mixed medium.
Yeah.
But for this, and then let's get some separation there with an eraser. Yeah, just Peter Pal, the pocket lint. Chat app AI going for a stroll.
Love it.
Going to whisper in your ear.
Ugh.
I don't know how.
Oh no. And I'm back again. Don't love that. Don't love that.
Cool. So yeah, that's some pocket lint stuff right there. Oh my
Did you
goodness.
imagine that when the stream started that you were going to be drawing pocket
No,
lint? I
absolutely
wasn't
not.
expecting that request, so thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Yep.
Peter. Kit.
You get to do some interesting things as an illustrator.
TM. There you go. Trademark. What was the other one? A penguin?
A penguin. Melvin the friendly
See,
penguin.
this is where
You
what's
hate
the
drawing
opposite
animals,
of
though,
Excel?
right?
What's the opposite of Excel? Decel? Yeah, this is where I decelerate. Oh my goodness, I never had my GoPro camera on. Dang it.
That's
You
okay.
guys were looking at the top of my head the whole time. Penguin. For this, okay. See, this is where strengths and weaknesses come out. I never had strength with animals.
Animals are hard. They're very hard.
They're hard to draw.
It's one of those that you have to
They're
like pull
very-
up a reference and just do it over and over and over again before it ever becomes easy.
Yeah, exactly. So with people, like people, you see people, and you can make goofy looking people.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get a reference. I don't even know what a penguin looks like.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do a couple days a week. Our team, for like first thing in the morning, we do a 15-minute illustration challenge, and it always ends up. You just never know what you're gonna do, and so 15 minutes goes by super super fast, and so it's always interesting to see what we end up with. We've ended up with some weird stuff. I think the weirdest thing I drew was that ugly Sonic, the like realistic Sonic with the teeth.
I think we all ended up drawing some kind of ugly Sonic
at some point. Yeah. Eddie says we need to stream those. Definitely no pressure there.
Penguin. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my goodness.
15 minutes is so bad. The other day I literally tried to experiment with something and it went horribly wrong, and I deleted everything and like redrew the quickest sketch ever in like 2 minutes. Oh, that's so cute. He's like a little egg.
Here, let's put like a little antenna on his head to signify that he's AI.
That's awesome.
Or he just looks like a cute bomb ready to blow up.
No, I love that you tied it back to chat, because I know we're going in like a different direction, but you can make anything work.
Yeah. Let's try and get another penguin going up here. Oh my gosh. That doesn't look super cute. Some ruffles. Oh my goodness. How do you make a penguin look like it's waddling? Yeah, so
I think some of them are like more like they got that tall, like I don't know. I don't know how to do it other than like doing it myself, where their shoulders are kind of higher and they're like one big long rectangle. But that works too.
Cool. Okay, so Peter Pal the pocket penguin. Okay. Let's go with one more idea here. I think maybe we can go the easy route and
now that you've had these weird, very specific things.
Let's go the easy route and let's do a chat bubble.
Okay.
Because that's a chat app, so
indeed.
We can have different ways of there's different types of chat bubbles. There's circles, there's rectangles. They all have that little tail on them. There's the ones with this kind.
Yeah, and this is one of those fun parts where it's like something that we might see a lot or draw every day, but how do we put our own spin on it for the client to like make them really stand out?
Exactly. And for some reason, I think this one right here, this one catches my eye because it kind of looks like a little ghost or something like that. The little tail here.
Yeah.
So I think that I will riff off of this idea.
Love it.
Paste. Let me hide these. Since I already drew that, I don't think I'll be able to redraw that shape any better. Like I said, I kind of have I have phases too. Like I said, for the longest time, I did a lot of these eyes. I thought it was fun and fun-y. So right now
We've got some interesting comments in the chat right here. Phil says they're talking about it being a sentient whoopee cushion. Yep. especially with that face. This is how I imagine he's in the YouTube right now. He's looking at the chat, like glaring at them. So
Okay.
I feel like this is
Fine,
appropriate.
fine. We'll do a little tangent just for you, Phil.
I think Iker made the joke. It's between those
fine,
two.
Iker.
Oh no, Phil said it's a whoopee cushion, right? And Iker was making puns. Welcome to the Unfold stream, folks.
There we go.
Yep.
Just for you, bro.
This is where we're at.
Okay.
Back to the chat.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
So I think in this scenario, like this type of character, just like his facial expression, his type of eyes wouldn't work for what is it? The friendly. What was the
yeah, it's
the
like the
messaging. Peter
messaging.
Pal at your service. Yeah, like a friendly, revolutionary eye that'll take care of your conversations. I think for something a little bit more whack, a little bit more silly of a product, maybe something like this would work. But we're gonna duplicate him, and just by changing up some of the features, like we can give this character a whole different look and feel. So I'm gonna take out the eyes. I'm gonna do a couple of variations on this guy here. Go with those Kirby eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to make him like super cute. So what I'm
Yeah,
gonna do is
like
I'm
the
gonna
tiny
give him
face.
small mouth. Yeah, tiny face, absolutely huge body. Maybe we'll.
Like he needs a tiny
classic.
little like baseball hat.
Oh my goodness, yeah. We'll give him the Kirby glare too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give him a cute little baseball cap here.
I always crack up on our team because I feel like me and Vic tend to like always go with something adorable and like this little cartoony style. And if you've ever seen Bo or other illustrator, he always comes in with like the coolest, like most realistic, I don't know, like sketch, and it's always very different.
Yeah.
We need to get him on here sometime too.
I know, right? It's fun. I enjoy doing. Lately, at least, like I said, I've been going through a phase, and I've been enjoying doing a lot of the goofy stuff. That's why for that project that we have in the pipeline, we went with those kinds of characters. For Creative South, we went with those kinds of characters. There was another project that we worked on where we had those kinds of characters. So eventually I'll get out of it and I'll try something new and different.
Yeah.
So let's clear this out and let's do another variation of eyes and face. So I really like these big googly circle eyes and like these giant pupils, similar to those stickers that I showed you. Open mouth maybe.
Yeah, I think he needs a little bit of like a little bit of a smile. Like maybe if we like angled it a little bit more, just so he looks a little like shocked right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe
that's perfect.
Little curl. Oh, gosh, these like bean-shaped smiles are so hard to do.
Right? Yeah.
You gotta get every angle perfect.
Love
okay, that looks ridiculous. I don't like that.
Oh no. Well, if you want to, I don't know if you wanted to jump in Figma and vectorize anything before. We've got probably about 15 minutes left. We can go a little over too, if you would like.
I think we can do that. Here, let's add a glare right here. And you know what? Just for kicks and giggles, let's add another character here because chatting is about having a conversation between two people.
Oh yeah.
So
he's a little friend.
Add a little bit of chat. Give some visual interest, add more to the story.
I think it's fun too, especially when we're thinking about designing for websites. I think our main focus always ends up being that big hero header section, but then figuring out how we can add elements and how we can kind of dilute that throughout the rest of the page, figuring out how it can like build off of each other, especially too if you were doing like an illustrative logo that like ended up looking like something like this. How could you take that and really build it out into like a full illustration style? That's always really fun.
Okay, let's add some more stuff, like some other chat boxes in the background. But yeah, I really like this idea right here. So let's go with that. Let's hide all this other stuff, including Peter Pal, the whoopee cushion, the pudding, pocket partner. All right, let's switch things up real quick here. I'm going to go back to this face cam. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go back to Figma, and I will send that image to my computer, and we'll work off of that. Share. Yeah, so like typically I don't have half an hour to an hour to do this stuff, and don't have potentially everybody in existence watching me. So
You're good. There's no pressure. It's all good.
the process is more or less the same. Um,
Just usually spread out
but
and less pressure.
yeah, usually spread out, and definitely usually a little bit more
Maybe just a few people in
thought
Figma
out.
staring at you while you. We do love
Right.
Figma for that capability, but every now and then you see that little bubble hovering next to you, and I'm like, I gotta stop while they're sitting there.
Right, let's bring back that UI. Let's multiply this there. Client said they want it to fit within this square, so we will do that. Cool. So I'm gonna lock this because I hate when I want to drag something and I click on something that I don't want to click on.
Mm-hmm.
And just for the sake of like ease, and I'm just gonna yoink the colors from here.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have a strategy for like when you pick colors? I know that I feel like one of the like markers of this style was like limiting the color palette, which I thought was really cool because it really helps those like vibrant colors kind of pop.
in terms of selecting the colors from the pre-existing palette, yes. In terms of picking the colors from the start, that's completely different. I think that's a little bit more of a it's a definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, like you rely on like the research and stuff like that that the brand team has done, or this team. Usually, there's an established set of colors. But yeah, like in this case, you could see like we're super limited to like one color, maybe two. The only time I used two colors was for the tongue,
Mm-hmm.
because it looked a little weird to have like a white tongue.
Yeah.
Not too bad, but I think that the tongue was fine. But
Mm-hmm.
kind of figuring out like, okay, what is like the main kind of component that is not the main component, or like the secondary component that needs to be highlighted, essentially.
Yeah.
Um,
And
in
that's
this
kind of
case,
another
I mean,
element of
yeah,
the storytelling, right? Of like really highlighting
exactly,
what
yeah,
is important within the illustrations themselves, like even
yeah,
beyond what the
especially with
pose
yeah.
or story is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's so much to it. The colors that you choose, the stroke size that you pick. There's Are you using round corners or not? Is everything sharp? Because
Mm-hmm.
sharp illustrations, sharp things give off a different vibe or like a different feeling than
Yeah.
things with rounded
And even
corners.
for
Are we
what
going
we're
to do
designing,
geometric
right?
stuff?
We did
Yeah,
some animated stickers recently that were going to be really tiny that versus if we did something for like the website hero like we were talking about. So, yeah, there's a lot of factors.
yeah. So for this, there's a lot of ways I can approach this. I personally like the more hand-drawn style. As you can see, this stuff like, uh, you know, for this hand, I could have gone super geometric and just okay, let's round these. All right, boom. We got our phalanges. Okay, and we got our thumb. Obviously, you know, do a little bit better of a job. Okay, boom, union it.
Right. And it's like super perfect.
There you go. There you have your hand. But it doesn't have like that attitude or like that kind of personality
It makes it
or
feel like custom
characterization.
too, which is really cool. Like if you're doing it for a client,
Yeah.
especially, like it's like this wasn't just stock that they downloaded. Like you've put your own touch on it.
So there's a lot of ways, and for this one specifically, I think I'm going to approach it by doing the hand drawn. Like I said, I could easily just press O on my keyboard, make a perfect circle, and just do a quick little tail on there. But I want to make this from scratch. And now you guys are going to see me, and it's more pressure.
Don't worry about it.
I
Pretend
make
there's
this
nobody here. I mean,
stupid
you have to
mistake
pretend I'm
here.
here
Oh
because
my
I'm talking to you, but don't
gosh.
just no one else.
All right, cool, let's connect that. I like to do my anchor points first and then bend them afterwards. I know Mike was talking about
I
that
noticed that,
in
yeah.
one of his streams. I think it gives me a little bit better control. So I think about things on an anchor point basis, and then I come up with the curves later.
Jordan
So
just said you need to check out the Mike Jones around the clock trick. So
round
go
the
back and
clock
check out
trick.
his previous tea time for some tips from Mike Jones.
I don't know why that layer is underneath there. That's really driving me nuts. Give me 1 sec. I want my red to be, oh, there we go. I want my red thing to be visible so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so cool. That is pretty good there for the most part. I locked the wrong thing. Now I'm just messing everything up. Oh my god. Well, let me fix
Layering
this a
is
little bit.
always one of our biggest challenges, I feel like, as illustrators, because there usually ends up being 1,000 layers per illustration, especially if we're doing anything that's like a little bit more complicated. So I know that that is always something that we are trying to improve on, let alone naming them.
So what I did there, by the way, life hack to make your life easier, you could do Control Alt C, or on Mac, I believe it would be Command Alt C, and you just copy a style. So I already did all the work here, so I just did Command Alt C, and it copies the fill, the stroke, and the stroke width, and if there's any other effects on there, it's going to copy that. So that way I don't have to sit there and manually fill stuff like a pezzo. Yeah. So for this guy, we'll just scale him down. Just make it a little bit different so it doesn't look like a copy duplicate. And because I want to make sure that I have enough time for everything. Cool. Here, let's add a little bit of more bubbliness. Adding like this little line here to make it feel like he's super bubbly. I'm going to round this as well. Oh, there we go, to give it more of a cleaner look so there's not a seam there. Cool. On to the eyes and the face. And so this is what I was talking about. Like, you see how I'm kind of like building on the general shape of the sketch, like I said. So for most cases, like that's what I do. I kind of like
use
to
it as a guide, right?
Use it as a guide. I like to kind of get the hard work done first on paper, like getting like proportions and stuff like that on paper first, because like I said, it's a lot easier for me, a lot quicker at least for me, just to iterate boom 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 on pencil and paper,
right,
and get something going instead of like, you know, getting an idea and then iterating it in Figma. I know some people like it the other way, but that's just the method that I prefer.
Yeah, I think everyone works a little differently for sure. I think it kind of depends for me on the style, honestly, on like what style we're doing. If it's like super heavy detailed, maybe wanting a little bit more definition in sketch. Yeah, it just really depends on the client.
For here, I'm just going to make a general shape, and then I'm going to start fixing up the anchor points.
So when you go through your like looking at a shape, how you're gonna build it, do you basically kind of like find like your corners, or do you just kind of have in your head where each point needs to be before you get it kind of lined up?
Yeah, I think so. I think I start off with like, if it's a circle, like I'll start off with a non-rounded point. So like if I were to make this, I'd start here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That way I don't have, like, instead of starting here, I'd have to start with a curve.
Right.
So I start off at like a hard intersection, and then I just kind of, like I said, I hop. You know, in this case, I would pull it like that.
Right.
I kind of like, I like, while I'm going, I kind of imagine where each anchor point would go. So I build stuff based off of that. Yeah, think ahead. Like, okay, click here. Okay, it makes sense for that anchor point to be there. All right, next one. I can't put the anchor point all the way here. I got to put it up here.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that. Select layer. My mouse is gone. Control Alt C, Control Alt V to copy the style. Yeah, the thing with these like oval bean mouths, I always have problem making this curve nice and attractive.
It's real tricky.
Yeah, but yeah, that's good. And then I'm gonna add that little lip there after the fact, because it makes it a lot easier to edit this
by itself. Yeah.
By itself, yeah, exactly. Without this little straggler hanging off. Just align that. There you go. Cool. We got this little guy going right here. Let's add some of these for glares. Yeah, see, when you're making an oval like this, it's a little tough And then you just, yeah, like a lot of the time, like I'm not looking for a perfect trace or like a
Hmm.
perfect shape right away. I kind of set up the anchor points where I know they'll go,
Yeah,
and then
that makes a lot of
I'll clean
sense.
up the line work after. For this one, I'm just gonna get lazy with it. Boom, circle. Cool. Make that 100% opacity. Let's make these eyeballs white. Make this mouth black. And yeah, those highlights did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, we might have to make the like chat bubble a different color or something like that.
Yeah. You know what? Let's give him a color since he's like the main character. It
Yeah.
looks like I've been using this purple, so let me make him purple. Let me change this stuff real quick just because it's bothering me. Yeah, so we'll make him purple. And what we can do is we could just go, and since we already did the work, go and take this from here and put it on this little fella. And now I noticed that the strokes are probably a little bit too thick.
Hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we are going to drop them down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's good enough for now. Yeah, this is super quick stuff. This is kind of like I said, I would definitely, if this was a real case scenario, I'd definitely be taking my time here.
Right.
But I'm just trying to kind of get a point across. Like I
Right.
said, the main idea behind this was figuring out like how we can tell the story.
Jordan approves of your purple choice. Of course he does.
It was very purposeful.
We have a color war going on here.
Let's add some more colors in here just to make it look,
Yeah.
feel
Like
a little bit more colorful. And then what I'm going to do is I might think about decreasing the opacity of this group. We can hide this to make them look a little bit more like in the background. Do this other shape right here for the one that was there. Let's not be afraid of overlapping. I think sometimes when I was starting out, I was like very afraid of overlapping stuff, like making sure that things were like separated from each other, but that is terrible at implying depth.
Yeah.
So I think overlapping some stuff here. But yeah, love these stars. I'm gonna add these stars.
Stars always help. Always add a little bit of detail, a little bit of that sprinkle.
And plus it's AI, so you cannot.
You gotta have stars.
Illegal. It's illegal to represent AI or Web3 without using these specific stars.
Absolutely.
Design tip 101.
If you learn nothing else today, know that when working on Web3 or with AI, you have to use stars.
Yeah. There's a lot, so much we could do to touch this up, but I think the point is across. So just like a little recap of what I did here. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of explain to you like all the different methods, all the different styles, all the different like ideas that you can bring to the table to really, gosh, I keep saying like, I mean, it is the title of the stream, but to tell the story.
Yeah.
To tell the story.
Yep.
There's so many ways to do it. So in this specific case that I showed you guys, it's probably the best way for me to do it quickly enough to fit into this live stream. So, kind of imagine that the client was looking for something a little bit more fun, a little bit more ditzy, nothing serious like what you see on the left over here with this. So we kind of had some iterations. We went with people. Okay, that doesn't really work. We went with pocket lint. What in the world is that supposed to mean? We went with the penguin. Yeah, that's cool. But then eventually, okay, maybe we can go with the chat bubble. This is a chat app. Okay, this logo has a little chat smiley face in it. All right, maybe we go that route. So it's kind of coming up with problem solving, finding solutions through trial and error. That's my favorite way to find solutions to problems is with trial and error, and I specifically love sketching, so that's why I want to make sure that I sketch a little bit on the stream. I love to sketch because you get ideas down quick. You can iterate, and find something that works and find something that can really take that website, that story, that product, that brand to the next level through your illustration.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up. Thanks so much for sharing your style with us and your process. And thanks to everyone for joining and asking questions and for requesting illustrations. Yeah, thanks for joining. If you want to find Vic, follow the link below. And we'll see you here next time. Thanks, y'all.
You guys, thank
Peace.
you.